My name is Peter Kleekamp. I'm the head of school of Holy Comforter Episcopal School. We are a school of pre-K 3 through 8th grade serving 576 students, and this year marks our 60th anniversary. On behalf of the school, the students, the families, the Board of Trustees, welcome to Holy Comforter Episcopal School, and we are thrilled you are here. And before we begin tonight, I'm going to invite one of our students who began in kindergarten, is currently in 5th grade. She is going to lead us in singing the national anthem, Alexa Minton, who is the daughter of Mia and Jimmy Minton. Please rise.
So proudly we hail by the twilight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Over the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Seeing the hug at the end made it all worth it. In 2013, we created the lecture series program. Our goal during the day from 8:05 to 3:15 is to educate our children in our classrooms. One of our goals for this event is to bring keynote speakers to come and educate all of us. 2 years ago, we had the renowned child psychologist, Dr. Michael Thompson. A year ago, we had Chris Waddell, a Paralympian who was the first to summit as a paraplegic Mount Kilimanjaro, and we all learned many, many lessons from him. In addition, we also hold our legislative preview, where we invite the designated Speaker of the House along with the Senate President and locally elected officials for a lively discussion, as you can imagine. All this would not be possible without our presenting sponsor. We are so grateful for Hancock Bank, who supports us financially so that we are able to bring in incredible speakers to this stage. How about a round of applause for Hancock Bank? At Holy Comforter Episcopal School, we have amazing teachers and phenomenal students. And one of our very own students is going to be introducing our featured speaker. Introducing our speaker is a true leader, both in and out of the classroom. This student has been enrolled since pre-K 4, is a member of our 8th grade class, will be graduating with class 2016, currently is the president of our National Junior Honor Society. She runs cross country and is a fellow midfielder. You might learn something from her, Julie. Our girls soccer team the last couple of years, their record has been 19-1. Our boys, 20-1. I deserve a round of applause, absolutely. A statistic we are very proud of is the fact that 86% of our middle school students choose to participate in an athletic team for Holy Comforter Episcopal School. Introducing our featured speaker is the daughter of Bree and Jay Smith, Miss Avery Smith.
Good evening. My name is Avery Smith, and I'm an 8th grader here at Holy Comforter Episcopal School. It is my honor as president of the National Junior Honor Society to introduce tonight's Holy Comforter Episcopal School Lecture Series speaker, Miss Julie Foudy. Miss Foudy is one of the most accomplished female soccer players in the world and is perhaps best known as the retired captain and 17-year veteran of the U.S. Women's National Team. She played in 4 FIFA Women's Soccer World Cups, where she won the World Cup in 1991 and 1999, and scoring in all 4 tournaments. Julie Foudy played in 3 Olympics, in 1996 winning gold, 2000 silver, and 2004 gold once again. She was inducted into the U.S. National Soccer Hall of Fame in 2007, alongside longtime teammate and friend Mia Hamm. Julie Foudy and Mia Hamm were only the 6th and 7th women ever to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. She grew up in the Los Angeles area and attended Mission Viejo High School, where she won 3 championships and 3 Player of the Year awards. She was voted Los Angeles Times High School Player of the Decade in the 80s. After high school, she attended Stanford University, where she was a 4-time All-American graduate, was accepted into medical school at Stanford, but denied it in order to pursue her dreams as a professional athlete. Julie Foudy is most proud of her accomplishments off of the field. She is married and has 2 children, Isabel Ann and Declan. A woman of strong conviction, she was awarded the FIFA Fair Play Award in 1997, the first woman and American to receive this award for her work against child labor and the stitching of soccer balls. Ms. Foudy was the past president of the Women's Sports Foundation Board and was named by the Sporting News as one of the most powerful people in sports. She is an outspoken advocate on behalf of gender equality in sports and was at the forefront of the Title IX policy debate. Ms. Foudy currently serves as a studio analyst for ABC and ESPN for FIBA World Cup and MLS telecasts. She and her husband founded the Julie Foudy Sports Leadership Academy, a unique residential camp experience for girls ages 12 through 18 that uses sports as a vehicle to teach leadership skills for life. Julie Foudy is a pioneer in her sport and an outstanding role model for all, a true champion on and off the field. Tonight, Ms. Foudy will share her experiences of her stellar career, as well as her formula for success, both on the field and in life. She will discuss her path to Olympic gold and the commitment and perseverance needed to be a champion. And lastly, Ms. Foudy will share what it takes to be an effective leader and the importance of teamwork and how to overcome obstacles in order to achieve your goals. On behalf of Holy Comforter Episcopal School, please give a warm Tallahassee welcome to Julie Foudy.
Wow. Avery, can I just bring you to every speech I do? And Alexa, where's Alexa, who sang the national anthem? Oh my gosh. Did you know that's my favorite song? Love the national anthem. That was awesome. I pulled up to Holy Comforter this evening, and I know we've got a lot of Holy Comforter students in here and parents, and I said to Mallory, what happens when they go to college? It's a letdown. This place is nice. My goodness. I am ecstatic to be here. What is the Crusader cheer, by the way, for Holy Comforter? Do we have a Crusader cheer? What is it? That's not a chop, is it? Close enough? What, do we have a Crusader cheer? Come on. What is it? Go Crusaders. Go Crusaders? Peter, should we work on this? Should we spend the entire speech talking about our cheer? Literally, it's just Grow Crusaders. Okay, we're gonna work on that. So I wanted to talk to you guys a lot about leadership, a lot about my experience playing with these amazing women on the U.S. national team for, some say, far too long, almost 20 years, and really hanging out with not just amazing athletes and soccer players and women, but most importantly, amazing human beings who taught me so much about life. And one of the first things I learned, I came with a PowerPoint tonight. Are you guys impressed? Okay, you should be. I also wore my big girl shoes tonight, so if I fall off the stage, are you guys gonna catch me? Okay, thank you. So one of the first things I learned when I got on the national team is this quote: success isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. I didn't learn this. I actually got on the national team when I was still in high school. I didn't learn this till probably college. And it was like this epiphany for me. It was this moment like, why didn't anyone tell me this before? It's a matter of choice. I didn't know that. If you substitute the word success with leadership, you could also say leadership isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. And that for me was very real, because when I was growing up, and I was the age of some of you here in the front, right? Leadership in my era was often what I read about in books. It could be a person in a position of power. It was often a president. It was a politician, right? It was this chief executive officer, a CEO, so it was always positional for me. It might have been a man on a horse with a tall hat and a sword who talked like this, right? That was leadership. It was a very narrow definition. And it wasn't until I saw this that I went, oh my gosh, leadership is so much broader than people in positions of power. And in large part, I was able to see that because, again, I was surrounded by these amazing women every day who I got to see the different styles of leadership, right? Mia Hamm, you might have heard of her. She was pretty good. She scored a lot of goals, so I hugged her a lot. Like, thank you, right? Mia Hamm was one of the quietest people you'd ever meet. Right? Did not like the spotlight. She wasn't going to be the one in the middle of the huddle pounding her chest, getting the team to rally. But Mia's style of leadership was totally unique because it was very personal. She would go up and grab a player at halftime. She would go over to Abby Wambach, right? After the game, before the game. Hey, what do you think of this? We're playing too close together. Maybe we need to play farther apart. That was her style. So I got to watch all these amazing women. But the hard part of that quote is what? Is choosing to be a leader, right? Raising your hand. Raising your hand is the hardest thing. It's easy to say, yeah, I'm a leader, but it's super hard to decide and say, yeah, I'm going to raise my hand. Because how many, I do this all the time. How many of you, when you're like, someone asks you, can you do that? You're like, no. You want to raise your hand, but then you start thinking, and women, and girls especially, are really good at this. We like to undersell our potential. No, I don't think I quite have that skill set. I didn't go to school for that. I didn't study for that. I haven't trained long enough for that. I've never done that before, right? We can come up with a long list of excuses to not raise our hand. But I'll tell you what I learned by playing with these women is you got to raise your hand. You got to make that choice, and it's the hardest thing to do. It's terrifying, in fact, right? Because it's out of your comfort zone. But you know what one very smart woman told us? You might have heard of her too, Eleanor Roosevelt. She says, do one thing every day that scares you. And this is what helped me and our team have the courage to say, okay, we're going to raise our hands. We're actually going to take a risk and do it. So, in light of that, do one thing every day that scares you. You're going to thank me for this. I'm going to cross it off your list today. We're going to do an exercise called, and we do it at our leadership academies, we call I am comfortable with crazy, because getting out of your comfort zone is a scary thing, right? And I get it. Like, a comfort zone is a nice, safe place. It's comfortable. It's a little boring, I think, sometimes, but it's safe, and we don't want to get out of that. Right? But when you do get out of it, the power of getting out of it and raising your hand is incredible. So what we're going to do is, you're going to find someone that hopefully you don't know that well. If you don't know them at all, even better. You're going to partner up with them. Hey, Avery, where'd you go, darling? Come on up. Come on up, Avery. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Give it a little jog, Avery, little jog. All right, the first one, just to get you warmed up for the real one. Are you ready for this, Avery? Avery did not know that I was going to pull her out of the crowd tonight. This is the beauty of what we do. Are you out of your comfort zone right now?
A little bit.
A little bit. Hold on, where'd that mic go? Paul, where'd that mic go? Right here? Oh, here it is, I got it. Okay. Is it working? Yeah? Oh, yeah, that's working. Oh, that's working. Okay, Avery, this is gonna be your mic. We're gonna do an exercise first because, again, I may not know this person. Hopefully you don't know them. Hi, I'm Julie.
Hi, I'm Avery.
Say it again.
Hi, I'm Avery.
Yeah, good eye contact, smile, very important in life, right? We're gonna do an exercise. You have to laugh without smiling. Okay? Do you want me to go first? Okay? There's no smiling. I'll try it first. Okay, your turn. You hold it.
Okay.
Shh. Avery's going. You do it to the crowd. No there's no smiling, Avery. My little 8-year-old goes like this.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, you're not done, Avery. One more time, Avery.
Okay.
No smiling. You're too smiley.
Okay.
Give her a round of applause. Good job, good job. All right. Stand up, parents. You too. You're in this. Stand up, introduce yourself, turn around, new person, laughing without smiling. It's not easy to do. It's not easy. That's something we do around the dinner table about nightly. I saw you guys over here going, oh my gosh, I cannot do it. Seriously. And it's uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable in front of someone else. You're not as uncomfortable as I'm now going to make you, though. Okay? The second exercise, I said to Mallory, Mallory, do you sing? And she goes, no, I'm a terrible singer. She goes, you should pick someone else. So just because Mallory said I should pick someone else, what do you think? Come on, Mallory. Mallory, 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 Mallory. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do one of my favorite things, which is to sing, okay? Now again, you're gonna go to someone new, someone totally different. You're gonna say, hi, I'm Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie.
And now you're gonna say, okay, introduce yourself with a smile, look them in the eye, and then here's what you have to do. My favorite song, which I told you, Alexa, where'd you go? My favorite song is the national anthem, right? So I'm gonna sing my favorite song, but I have to sing it in an opera voice. Okay? I think I need this mic for this. Are you ready? Mallory, Do you want me to go first? What's your favorite song? Are you thinking about it still?
I'm thinking right now.
Okay. Are you ready? Party foul. And it's got to be like really opera. It can't just be like, oh, sick. Okay? Oh, sick, can you see? What's your favorite song? We've already done that. It's okay, yeah.
Okay, so hi, I'm Mallory. I'm not a singer, but Boomer Sooner.
I think you can be more operatic.
More operatic.
Yeah.
So sooner born and sooner bred, and when I die, I'll be sooner dead.
Yeah.
Rockahoma,
No,
go
like
you.
in an opera voice though.
Boomer Sooner.
There you go. Okay. Find a new partner. I need 10 to 15 seconds each. New partner, go. For some people, that may not be that big a deal, right? I was kind of like that type of person. I didn't care, right? But for a lot of people, doing something like that, and especially if you went to someone you don't know at all, is way out of your comfort zone, right? It may even be way out of your comfort zone doing it in front of your mom or doing it in front of a friend. Right? But the thing you learn when you do that is what? Well, what did I hear a lot of? Laughter. I heard a lot of laughter, and guess what? With laughter, all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, I can do this. And this is the thing I learned. One of the most important lessons my entire life falls on this little drawing. If I could pass this on, I'm winning. Right? There's your comfort zone, and look what happens outside of your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens. And that's what I learned firsthand, because rewind to when I was playing with the national team way back, right? We started playing on the national team in 1980s, late 80s. Guess what? There was no, did you guys see the Women's World Cup this summer? Yeah. Huh? How cool was that? Right? When the USA won it? But when we started on the team, guess what? There was no Women's World Cup. I was a 16-year-old. Mia was a 15-year-old. Christine Lilly, another really good player, 16 years old. We had a lot of young teenagers on the team, and we said, why not? Why are there no World Cups for women? That seems odd. And you know what they told us? People don't care about women's soccer. It's not popular. It's not that good. People don't play in a lot of countries, right? Olympics. Always had men's soccer in the Olympics, but they never had women's soccer in the Olympics. When we got on the team in the 80s, we said, why no Olympics, right? Why not? So people kept telling us we were crazy for asking these silly questions, and guess what we did? We get this big grin, and I love it when someone would tell my teammates no. They'd get this big grin, and they'd be like, right on, let's go. We're going to change some minds here. And they kept telling us you're crazy. But guess what happened in 1991? The first ever Women's World Cup. You know what they told us? Not only are you crazy to think it can happen, you're crazy to think the United States could win it, because we're not a soccer nation. We don't play football, as they call it in Europe and the rest of the world. Guess who won that first ever Women's World Cup? Who? That's right. Right? First First ever Olympics with women's soccer in 1996 in Atlanta. Right? Again, we fought and we fought and we fought for 10 years. We're going to get women's soccer in the Olympics. Nah, it's not going to be successful. We're not sure if people will show up. Guess how many people showed up to that final game? 80,000 people. They had to turn them away. 80,000 people. We looked around and we said, well, that's funny. People are showing up. Right? And what we discovered is we're not crazy, we're courageous. Because there will be people throughout your entire life that are going to tell you can't do it. That's silly. That's so lame, that idea. No, it's not going to happen. And if we had ever listened to them, oh my gosh, I'm scared at that thought. But instead, we were willing to get out of our comfort zone because that's where the magic happens. When people told us no, we'd roll up our sleeves and say yes. Right? And it reminds me, I found this video recently, it reminds me of this 10-year-old girl on a ski jump in Utah. Check this out.
I'll be fine. I'll do it. Well, here goes something, I guess. Oh. Okay, you can do this. I'm gonna jump.
You got it.
Whoa, my ski's slipping off.
Just remember, never snowplow, okay?
No snow plows.
Keep it straight and you'll be fine.
Okay.
You can do on the 20.
Straight. Do you go faster on the in run?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Is it any steeper, do you think? Not much?
Same steepness, it's just longer.
Well, just longer. Just longer. Just a bigger 20, that's all.
Yep. Have
It's a
fun.
bigger 20.
Go ahead.
I got it.
It's fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Here
The longer you wait, you'll be more scared.
I go. Just the suspense at the top at the first time freaks you out. That's the only thing. It's so fun. Huh? 60 seems like nothing now. Whoa!
I love the end of that because she says, I don't know if you could hear her at the end. You could hear her at the top, like her voice quivering. She's trying to talk herself into it. And finally she's like, and her dad says, don't snowplow, don't slow down, meaning go fast, right? You got to gun it, you got to go. You got to take a risk here. You may fall, but you got to take this risk, you got to go. And he says, don't snowplow. She goes, here we go. But at the end, when she's woohooing it, do you hear what she said? That was so much fun. 60 seems like nothing now. 60 means the higher jump, right? And you don't know that until you do it, until you risk possibly falling. Do you know that? And again, I go back to the lessons I learned from our national team. And now I fast forward to after we won the gold medal in the Olympics, right, in 1996. We said, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if we hosted a World Cup here in the United States to our U.S. Soccer Federation? And thankfully, they said, yes, we love that idea. Well, FIFA, don't get me started on FIFA, but FIFA says, no, we want you to do it in smaller stadiums, keep it on the East Coast or regionalized, don't go big, right? Let's play it safe. We are not going to assume, this multi-billion-dollar industry, corporation, we are not going to assume the losses. So I just found this out the other day. Our U.S. Soccer Federation said, all right, we'll assume the losses. We'll take that chance because we don't want to play, and the players certainly don't want to play in smaller stadiums on the East Coast, right? At first they said, hey, you should go to, Tufts University. They have a really beautiful 5,000 seat soccer specific stadium. 5,000. And we said, wait, excuse us? This is a World Cup, right? Shouldn't we be playing like in national stadiums and all over the country and really showing really what the standard for not just women's soccer should be, but for women's sports? And so U.S. Soccer said to FIFA, we will assume the risk. So we literally, as players, have no idea. We're now at, MetLife Stadium, which was Giant Stadium in New York, which is where, the football teams play, 80,000 seat stadiums. Finals at the Rose Bowl, Soldier Field in Chicago, huge venues. We have no idea if people will even show up, right? And literally 6 months before the World Cup is to happen, we're at a press conference, and it's actually set up just like this room. Myself and Carla Overbeck were the captains on the stage with Tony DeCicco, and Marla Messing was our head that ran the World Cup. And we're sitting up at a desk, at a table, and it's all media, and it's all cameras along the backside. And it's about, gathering excitement and enthusiasm for this World Cup that we're going to host in these massive stadiums that we have no idea if people will come. But pretend like they're going to come. That's what we just kept saying. Fake it till you make it. So the first question out of the audience is from an American reporter, and he says, you're lying about ticket sales. You're making this more than just a soccer event. It's about this big women's rah-rah, I can play, I can do anything type of an event. And it's detriment to the game, takes away from the soccer, and you're lying about all these ticket sales. All negative when we thought it was going to be this real celebration. And literally, Carla and I on the stage start sweating. And because we didn't know. It was 6 months out. And we had not clearly sold out the stadiums. The ticket sales were low. And we turned to each other and we kind of smiled. And we had this saying on the team called fake it till you make it, right? And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Have you ever seen, actually I'll talk about it now. Have you ever seen a duck on a pond? We had another saying on the team called make like a duck. Have you ever heard of that? Make like a duck? So have you ever seen a duck on a pond? Like a duck on a pond is like, what's up? I'm a duck. Life is good. They're cleaning themselves off, right? Hanging out, sunning themselves. They're like, peace, what's up? I'm a duck. But what if you took an underwater camera and went underneath? What is that duck doing? That duck is paddling like crazy to stay afloat, right? But what do you see? You see what's up? I'm a duck. Right? So we, at that table, our feet are going like crazy, but we're like, oh, no problem. Let's handle this fine. Make like a duck. We turned to each other and said, make like a duck. So we said to this reporter, his name is Jamie Trecker. Still writes. We said, well, Jamie, we actually think people will show up, and boy, are we trying our hardest, and we know there's a gamble here, but we think people will come. We think it's going to resonate with kids, not just girls, but boys as well, right? And we think we can really start something that sets a standard for all events going forward, right? So then fast forward another 6 months, we pull up to our opening game, and we're driving in traffic, and we go 3 or 4 hours before the game's going to start. We're playing Denmark in the opening game of the World Cup at Giant Stadium. So we're on the New Jersey Turnpike on a Saturday afternoon, and it is bumper to bumper traffic. And literally we're like, we're gonna miss the game. What is going on? And we figure it out, and it's all around us, our cars with Go USA, we love you, Mia. We're like, we are the traffic jam. They are coming to see us play. And we did not know, there's a great clip in the documentary on our team, we didn't know till literally pulling into the stadium where our press officer announces, I have an announcement to make, and he stands up on the bus. This game is a sellout. And we go crazy, because we didn't know, right? So we walk into the stadium, and it was like a scene from a movie. Because for years, we've been promoting this and come out. I mean, almost to the point of like going door to door, asking people to come to games. Please come and see this game. You're going to like it. We get to the stadium, and it's like straight out of a movie. You're in that dark tunnel, and then you walk out. And then the crowd, we walk onto the field, and 80,000 stand up and go crazy for us. And the game hasn't even started, right? NSYNC was playing before the game, so that might have something to do with it. But we're taking full credit for it. So literally, I remember walking out, and I'm thinking, where is that Jamie Trecker right now? Right? If we had listened to him and all the people along the way, we wouldn't have ever had that moment happen. We wouldn't have had 82 or 4, I don't even know what it is anymore, maybe it was 90s, in the Rose Bowl for the final on July 10th, right? We wouldn't have had that moment. And all because this is something we live by. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly, right? And it helps, I tell you what helps, it helps when you have a team around you to do courageous things, right? Figure out, and that's one, there's no secret sauce to any of this, but if I could give you 2 little pieces of advice, find your team, right? I was lucky because I had my team built in around me. And you're lucky too because you guys play on a lot of sports teams, right? You have a lot of great clubs at your schools, but who is it in your life, and this is the most important team you're going to build, who is it in your life when you have a dream and you have a thought and you have a really cool idea, you go to and say, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I just thought of. I want to do this, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to do this. And you know what that person is going to say? Yeah, you are. You sure are. Because how many of us have in our lives people who go, that's stupid. Right? Ha! Dream on! Crazy person. That's crazy talk. Right? You know what I call those people? Debbie Downers. Right? Get rid of the Debbie Downers in your life that are going to tell you you can't do it, and find your team of people that tell you you can. Right? Because when you find that team, and then you create a culture around you, if it's in school, if you're a coach, if it's with your team, right? That we're going to take risks and we're going to succeed. And we're going to try things and we're going to make mistakes and we're going to get up and we're going to laugh when we do it. That was our team, right? I saw this recently in a ski instructor's manual. I thought this was so cool. This is actually from the ski instructor's manual. It says, if your students aren't falling at least once per run, they are not learning new, improved form. I mean, can you imagine a business that like went out and said to their employees, you know, if you're not failing once a day, you're not doing enough, right? And I think that was the most important thing we learned with the national team is if people didn't buy into what we were selling, if they told us we couldn't do it, then it was simply a matter of changing their perspective, not thinking we couldn't do it. All right, it was never like, oh, you're right, maybe we can't do it. It was, okay, you're going to see our side of it. Changing attitudes, changing perceptions. It reminds me of another video of a baseball player. I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's all about perspective.
Strike one. I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike two. I'm the greatest hitter in the world! Strike three. Wow, I'm the greatest pitcher in the world.
Optimism. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
One of the women who used to work with our national team, Dr. Colleen Hacker, this is one of the quotes I love the most from her. Attitudes are contagious, is yours worth catching, right? Similar to what we saw with the baseball player who couldn't hit it. I'm the greatest pitcher in the world then, right? This is such a cool thing because everyone contributes. This was the reason our team was so successful, right? Because people wanted to be around each other. People wanted to be having fun. There was joy to what we were doing. And I think the best forms of leadership come when crisis strikes in any form, right? It can be in life. It can be on a soccer field. You go down a goal. You get a player red carded. You get a bad call by the referee. But how you react is everything, right? And we were full of teammates, especially Carla Overbeck, the greatest captain, I think, who it kills me because I bet 95% of you haven't heard of that name before. Carla Overbeck, one of the greatest captains we had on the U.S. team, in moments of crisis on the field, when it's chaotic and we're playing poorly and the crowds are loud or whatever it is, Carla was the one on the field as the center back that would be shouting out, "We're fine. Stop freaking out, people." Right? You need that leadership. You need the person at the end of the bench who didn't get a minute in the game, but is the first one celebrating when someone else scores. That's attitude. That's contagious. That's positive. Right? How many of you, and maybe you've even been that player, you don't get in a game, you're not liking your coach, right? You're mad. What happens to the body language at the end of the bench? Oh, whatever, I don't care. I don't like this coach, I don't like this team. How often? Right? We've all seen it. Some of us have even done it. Don't do it again. Right? I'll tell you what, if you watch any documentary on our 1999 World Cup team, the first person to celebrate jumping off the end of that bench was a player named Danielle Fotopoulos. She played at the University of Florida, actually, not Florida State, sorry. Played at the University of Florida, and this is the greatest goal scorer that ever played in the NCAAs to this day. Scored more goals in her collegiate career than anyone else. Tall, target, excellent finisher. I'm not sure she played more than 10 minutes at that entire World Cup in 1999, but guess what Danielle was doing when some other forward or someone else on the team was scoring? What was she doing, you think? Cheering, right? And do you think Danielle was a little bit bummed that she wasn't playing? Yeah, but she got it. She got that, I'm going to be the one that's going to contribute in a different way than what I thought I was going to do. But my gosh, our teams that were always successful, it's not a coincidence. Those players got it. They got their role and they got the value of that because positive attitudes are contagious. Okay? I'm going to speed this along so we can get to questions and answers. But this one, and I'll leave you with one final video before this, but this one's a big one for me. To be rather than to seem with your leadership style, right? And we started at the beginning, talk about leadership is a choice. And leadership is personal, not positional, right? But at the end of the day, you got to be your leadership style. You got to be rather than trying to be someone else. I can't be Mia Hamm. I can't be Carla Overbeck. I can't be Brandy Chastain. I can watch and I can learn from them, but people are going to want to follow me for my leadership style because it's me. It's authentic, right? And I think the misconception for a lot of young kids, I find, for girls and boys is, well, I'm not the most popular. I don't wear the captain's armband, right? I'm not the superstar on the team. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most confident. And you look at all the different types of leadership, that was the really cool thing I learned from all these women. Joy Fawcett, for the first 10 years she was on the national team, she didn't talk. I thought something was wrong with her. She was so painfully shy. She ended up playing 18 years with us. She ended up being my co-captain for our last 4 years together between the 2000 and 2004 Olympics. Because when Joy spoke, she was a woman of very few words, but when Joy spoke, oh my goodness, she was spot on with everything. Insightful, instinctive, she's a problem solver. So literally when Joy would speak in the huddle, everyone would be like, "Be quiet! Joy is talking!" Right? But she's not the one at the top of the mountain pounding her chest, the loud one with all the spotlight. Mia wasn't either. I told you her style was very personal, right? Figure out what your style is. If you're not the vocal leader, you may just not be the vocal leader yet, right? Christy Rampone, the current captain of this U.S. national team, tells a story. She was so painfully shy in high school that when college recruits would call her, she's like, I did not want to talk to a recruit on the phone. That was like the most painful exercise I could ever go through. So I literally, when the phone would ring and my dad would say, "Oh, hi, Coach so-and-so," she said I'd open the screen door, I'd step outside. When I saw him hang up, I'd step back inside. And he would tell the coach, "Oh, she stepped outside for a sec." I'm sorry, she's not here. So she never had to talk to a coach. Christy Rampone has been the captain for like the last 8 years. I think ever since I retired of that national team, right? A kid who's so shy, but does it in a very personal way. And that's the really cool thing, right? Is figuring out what is authentically you. My last video I'll show you, and I know I've thrown a lot at you, but if you can grasp the idea of getting out of that comfort zone, laughing while you're doing it, right? Being okay with that anxiety that goes around failing, as we saw with the ski jumper, then you're gonna be like this guy, this little boy after he's learned to ride a bike. It's this kind of feeling.
Do you feel alive?
I feel happy of myself.
I feel happy of yourself too. What do you got, any words of wisdom? What about for all the other kids trying to learn how to ride their bike? Can you say anything to them?
Everybody, I know you can believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you will know how to ride a bike. If you don't, you just keep practicing. You will get the hang of it, I know it. If you keep practicing, you will get the hang of it, and then you can get better and better at it if you do it.
Give me some thumbs up.
Thumbs up, everybody!
All right.
For rock and roll!
Thumbs up, everybody, for rock and roll. The first line he had is, I feel happy of myself. And I think that's lost in the seriousness of sports today, in the seriousness of life today. And that's the one thing I would leave you with. It's the one thing I actually miss the most with playing. People say all the time, when you're calling games, do you miss it? When you're out there with the team, you miss it. And I say, no, I don't. What I miss is I miss the laughter. I mean, there was laughter everywhere we went. It's why they had to kick us off the team at the end, because we didn't want to get out of there. And I look around sometimes on soccer fields and sports fields, and it's really serious, and it's very intense. And I think, good God, this is sports, right? This is fun. Let's not forget that, right? All you coaches in here, let's not forget that, because if you can wrap all those things, the passion, right? The willingness to raise your hand, to find where the magic is, it's this beautiful cycle. Not just in sports, but in life, more importantly, right? When you step off the field, this is what you're gonna do, and the beauty of it is so often you learn all these great things just by playing, right? We started with leadership isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. I say to you, choose wisely, choose to matter, because you can. That's the really cool thing. Thank you. open it up to a few questions. Wait, stay standing because you're going to give a standing ovation. I meant to say this at the top of my speech. But first of all, I heard the Crusaders girls and boys soccer team have lost only one game in their last 2 seasons. And I don't know if we have any of the Florida State women's soccer team here, but national champions! Yeah. I actually got a call that national championship game for ESPN and was so happy for them and for Mark Krikorian. So very, very cool. An excellent program. All right, we have time for questions? Who's got the best question? Just raise your hand. They're going to bring you a mic out. Oh, there's one right there.
Who was the first person to score on the U.S. soccer team for the World Cup?
Wait, say that again. Who was the first person to score?
Who was the first woman to score?
Oh, in a World Cup for the U.S. team? Oh. You're already stumping me on question number 1? Okay, I'm going to guess. Someone Google it fast. I'm going to guess Michelle Akers, because she scored a lot of goals back in the day. Do you guys know which player Michelle Akers is? Michelle Akers? Yeah. She's another Florida gal. All these Florida gals. Michelle Akers, the best soccer player of all time, in my opinion, right? Michelle Akers was about 7 feet tall, and then with her hair, do you know what her nickname was? Mufasa. Because she had lion's hair. Mufasa, I don't know. Someone's going to Google that, but that's a good question. Yes?
If you could go back in time to when you were 10, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, these are good. You Holy Comforter smart students. You know, I can't remember who I was saying this to before the speech, but I said, I said I really enjoy talking to young kids, right? Because I wish I had heard some of this stuff younger. So that quote, to be rather than to seem, that's a new quote for me. I just learned that quote like a year ago. And I wish someone had told me that. Like, leadership is your style, right? I always thought I had to be in a position of power. I always thought I had to be the president. I had to be, you know, from money. I had to have a formal education in leadership. And it's like, all you really need is you need passion and courage, right? And authenticity, and to make good decisions, right? And people are going to want to follow you. I wish someone had told me that. Great question. Keep it down here.
What's your favorite book?
What's my favorite book? Oh, The Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Huh? That's a good one. You'll be famous as famous can be, and they'll watch you on TV, except sometimes they won't. Often they don't. It's a great book. Good question. Where? Yes.
What's your favorite thing about soccer?
Favorite thing about soccer? I get to run around with my best friends and be silly and be competitive and sweat and giggle and win. That was always important as well. We like to win.
I was wondering, what did your parents say in the 1980s when you decided to forego medical school to play women's soccer?
What did my parents say in the 1980s when what?
When you decided not to go to medical school in Stanford?
When I decided not to go to medical school? So the backstory is when I graduated from college, I was going to go to Stanford Medical School. And I actually had gotten into Stanford Medical School, and I ended up deferring for 2 years to keep playing. And I talked to about 2,000 doctors. I actually talked to 2 of them again tonight here. And they all said, like, unless it's your life's calling, I'm not sure it's what you want to do. So I had done my due diligence, right? And my mom was a nurse, so she was in the industry. And they, you know, and what I love about my parents, and this is from every decision I had to make growing up, and I often think of this now as a parent, is when it came to like a critical time to make a decision, it wasn't like, you are going to do this, young lady. It was, well, what do you want? What do you want to do? What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about it? Do you feel if you got into, you know, being a doctor, you'd be passionate about it? And in the end, that was it. I wasn't passionate about it. So they actually were incredibly supportive of it. Similar story, and this is a good one for parents as well. My senior year in high school, my mom, I got offered to go play with the national team in Italy at a tournament. And this is only like 2 years after I'd been on the team, and I hadn't quite won a starting position. And I knew if I went to this tournament in Italy, I might actually win that starting position. Well, the tournament in Italy coincided with my high school graduation. So I wanted my parents to say, well, no, you're not going to go to Italy. You should go to your high school graduation. Or go to Italy, you know, and miss your high school graduation. Of course you should go to Italy. I wanted them to make the decision. So I went to them and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I really want to go to my high school graduation. I really want to play on the national team. I'm torn here. And they're like, can't help you. You got to make up your mind with what you want to do. And it was the best advice because still to this day, I get high school friends like, I can't believe your parents made you miss your high school graduation. I'm like, nope, it was me. Right? I take full ownership. All right, question. Where's our mics? Okay.
Hi. I was wondering, in a sport such as soccer and in like the normal economy today, how do you take on men being the more dominant gender?
I can't hear because the speakers are going this way.
Oh, sorry.
Shout it out.
In a sport such as soccer and the economy today, how do you take on men being the more dominant gender?
In sports like soccer and the economy today, how do I take on men being the more dominant gender? Was that the question? Okay. These are good. Well, by dominant, you mean make more money? Yes? Okay. So this is actually a huge issue for me right now with FIFA. Not to get too political, but FIFA right now is the governing body that operates soccer and is in a big series of reforms, as we all know, for a lot of the corruption. As part of this corruption, I have felt for many years that one of the things on FIFA's website, their first mission says, our mission is to promote and provide soccer everywhere and for all. I actually just wrote about this for ESPN. And that for all is a sticker with me because you find so many programs around the world and globally, right? We're super lucky in this country because women all over this country can play, thanks to Title IX. Girls all over this country can play. There's tons of opportunities in this country for girls to play. But that is the exception rather than the rule in a lot of other countries. So you go to a lot of other countries, and I don't think women are given enough opportunities to play. So I have advocated for years for FIFA as guardians of the game to advocate for more girls to just be playing, right? Because when you build players and you develop players, then you build a market. And they say, oh, well, women don't make enough money. That was the argument given to our U.S. women's national team 20 years ago, right? And for a small investment, I now say, that was a pretty big return on their investment. We've seen how popular they can be. Well, the rest of the world is where we were years ago. So I think we need to do a better job, not we in this room, but we meaning FIFA, of supporting girls globally. And as much as we can push them to do that, and you guys can push them to do that, that would be awesome. I don't think that answered your question, but I liked my answer. Okay, who's got the next one? Yes.
Okay, what was your scariest moment in playing soccer and how did you overcome it?
Oh, scariest? I think the scariest moment is the story I told you about today, when we didn't know if people would come to the World Cup. And we really were the ones who fought hard to put it in big stadiums, make it national, make it a big deal. And so that's downright frightening, because we've put ourselves out there, and then you're like, oh gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope they come. So I think, and that's why, you know, so much of my talk surrounds that, because if you look at that, if we hadn't done that, we'd played in 5,000-seat stadiums, we'd stayed on the East Coast, no one would know, I think, about women's soccer still in this country. It wouldn't have the popularity. It should be popular. There's no way it would have the reaction it did this summer if we had done it like we were told to do. So I think that was probably the scariest thing. And I look back and think, oh, thank goodness we didn't listen to them. Couple more? Two more?
Did you have any interests in any other sports?
I did. That's a great question. I played everything, actually. I know we have some of the coaches from Florida State's beach volleyball, sand volleyball they call it here. That was like my dream, was to play in the Olympics for sand volleyball. Because I grew up in Southern California, I played a lot of volleyball. I actually quit soccer one little season to play volleyball. I love basketball, I played softball, I ran track and field. It wasn't actually until I got to college that I just did soccer. And that was more consequence because at Stanford it was really hard to do a collegiate Division I sport and stay in school and not get kicked out of school. But I'm always advocating for trying, and I know it's hard, and I know it gets competitive, and I know timing becomes an issue, but I think diversifying is healthy. All right, last question. Who's got it? I don't know where the mics are. Over here.
What's your favorite soccer move?
Oh, my favorite soccer move? Oh! You know, you don't have to do it always just with the ball, right? So we used to have a big thing. What's your favorite celebration? What's your name?
Hattie.
What is it?
Hattie.
Hattie? Do you have your favorite goal celebration? Can I see it? You got a knee brace on?
I don't really have one.
Hattie! Okay, we gotta talk. So, here's my big thing, right? Scoring goals is hard, right? Especially for a player like myself, it was really hard. So I would have my goal celebrations totally planned out. Pre-game, we would be in the locker room like, okay, and then you go to the left, and then you go here. Then you do a little Austin Powers at the end. Right? Brandy, when she took her shirt off, I don't think had that planned. Had she worked on it in the locker room, we would have said bad idea. Just kidding. That's a good question. Hattie, next time I see you, I want to see what that goal celebration is, okay? All right. All right. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming out. Appreciate it.